Good day, everybody. Good day. Welcome to another Wednesday. Hard to believe another Wednesday has passed by. Tonight, the big topic is which chassis is preferred by me, as asked by a viewer. Welcome, everybody. My name is Scott. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Go Small, Live Large, and our weekly van life RV show, What's Up Wednesday. What we do here is help you try to be a better RVer, whether you're no time still researching, part-time taking some amazing trips, or maybe even being a crazy guy like me, full-timing in a van. Doing it on purpose, by the way. Man, we got a really cool show for you tonight. We do not have any guests. We had a bang-out show last week with Sherry, an Embassy RV new owner, but today we just have little old me. But we have a really hot topic on chassis, and it is a little bit like religion. Everybody wants to get to heaven. There's just the different ways to get there, and that's kind of our topic tonight is chassis. So we're going to hit that at 15 minutes after the hour here. It's right at the top of the hour, 6 p.m. Central, and we go for an hour. So get those questions rolling in because this is really all about you, and that's what What's Up Wednesday is all about, is a live chat with you. I'm coming at you live from Redding, California. I left the Sacramento area this morning, and I'm headed to Medford, Oregon. I have a campsite there reserved tonight, so I got to scoot along. But I'm coming at you from Redding. Let me show you the data points here. In case you're not familiar, Redding is kind of between the Oregon border and the Bay Area, I would say. It's currently 71 degrees. It's going to be 49 degrees tonight. And one reason I am eager to get out of California are these gas prices. Man, are they punishing? And look at the right image there in Redding. I screenshot this just about 45 minutes ago as I pulled over. There's a $1 difference in the gasoline price, and it's within a 1 mile radius, which is just amazing. I filled up in West Sacramento at Costco. It was $4.09, and the locals are telling me they're expecting $5 and $6 gasoline in the next 6 months. Oh, holy cow. And I should have shown you a picture of $1.1 million house by the in the community I was driving through this morning. I'm like, well, this looks like a nice little average, middle class. Let's see how expensive these houses are. I pulled up Redfin. I about fell out of the van while it was in motion. $1.1 million, $1.1 million for this house. 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,400 square feet. Couldn't believe it. Oh my gosh. Where are you watching from? More importantly, I'm always curious about that. And we love to put up our national flag of the person that's coming at us from an unusual location. Unusual in the sense that we're not familiar with where you're watching from, and that's what I would love to know. So, and our question format is the 3 asterisks followed by 3 question marks. That more helps me readily know you have a question for us. Let me kind of run through the show tonight. I see some questions coming in already. So Sparks guy from a What's Up Wednesday a couple weeks ago asked the question, what's my current chassis preference? They have a Promaster, on which their Nova is built by Coachman, and they like the engine choices in Ford. So I've got some data points on all 3 chassis, Sprinter, Ford, and Ram Promaster, and I'm going to give you some of my opinion. You may not agree with me at all, and that's okay. That's what we do here. We learn together, we share together. You decide what's the best way for you to RV. So that's the deal there. Okay, question of the week at 15 after the hour. RV news. You'll not want to miss this RV news. It's pretty compelling stuff. Any of you that tuned in on Monday on this channel, YouTube Live, you'll know what I'm talking about. We have a recommendation of the week. This is pretty potent. And song of the week. I have a hot tip, or is it a cold tip? I guess it's a hot tip from the recommender of the song of the week. It has to do with running your electric heat and what a no-no it is to use your lithium battery for that. So if you're tuning in tonight, you'll get a little extra bonus at the end. And then, of course, we have our pet pick. Upcoming channel events. Now, I owe 3 of you, maybe it's 4 or 5 actually, a really big, I'm sorry, route plan shifted, and obviously I'm headed to Medford today. My plan was to go to San Jose. We've got some roundups planned. The roundup in San Jose is being canceled. However, I have a roundup now planned in Greater Oregon, and we have one planned in Las Vegas. I do ask for you to get an Eventbrite ticket. Let me zoom in here so you can see those dates and times. So you go to my website, click off to Eventbrite, and get a free ticket there. We just have had some amazing roundups recently. We just did one in the, Rancho Cucamonga. Who doesn't like saying that? and it was just an honor to meet Larry and Nancy and oh my gosh, all the folks, Alfred and Gus and or Carlos and Greg, right? Oh my gosh. So we love meeting you in person. That's where we're supposed to spend 90 minutes. We spent almost 3 hours just chit chatting, touring vans. It's pretty amazing. And if you are have been on my website lately, let me zoom in here for you on this. We've got VANBOREEs, which is what I call campouts, planned. We have 3 of them. One in Arizona, Wilcox by Tucson. One in the Dallas-Fort Worth area in Arlington, and one in New Orleans. And I will have these, I promise, ready for you to buy an event ticket. I'm actually charging $30. I'm experimenting with this. I hope that doesn't offend anybody. You pay your own expenses, but there's a $30 event fee to help cover some of the costs of putting this on. And those should be live literally tomorrow. So if you're in those areas, and it's open to everybody. I do ask you have a van. That would be kind of cool. And we're not doing any day events. So you need to sort of have an RV. The van would be ideal, but this is open to Travato owners, Embassy RV owners, coach, anybody in the van. That's okay. We just want to get together and do some van fellowship. So mark your calendars for that, and see what else we got here. Hey, subscribe to the channel and give a thumb up if you like this kind of stuff. What we do here on Go Small, Live Large, again, is help you be a better RVer. We give you van tours. Man, we've got some cool ones coming up. You do not want to miss these. We take you to cool places and where you can take your van. And I'm upping the content on this. We got a bunch of Route 66 stuff coming out, and van tips, everything from how to cook sushi, not sushi, dim sum, in your van, and van tips like we're going to give at the end of the show tonight on lithium electric furnace. So subscribe to the channel. If you haven't seen this video, this was posted just this last weekend. I show the Volta app in action and helps you understand the consumptive nature of these appliances and how the app can help you fine-tune your management of the resource of electricity, because it's a resource like water and waste in an RV. And last but not least, let's look at some of the questions coming in tonight. And we'll go for about 7 minutes on those, and then we will hit the viewer question of the week. So I saw some familiar faces in here. Hey, Seattle. Yeah, super sorry, we're not going to make it to the Pacific Northwest. I'm going to make it to Portland, then do about face and head north. It's getting kind of cold up north, which is so nice. I'm so glad to be out of the heat. Oh my gosh. Godly Texas, how you say it? John, good evening. Hey, Roger and Jane. Oh my gosh, you've got to tell us, we got to have you on the show here and tell us about your van lift experience. If you are up for that, hit me up. We've got a couple other van owners coming on. We've got a Coachman Nova owner coming on here shortly, but I would love for you folks, Roger and Jane, to come on from your discovery and tell us about your van lift. So OHV stands for off-highway vans. Right there, right there. Right, oh my God, this is so funny. The thing's backwards. Right here, off-highway vans. And oh, hey, Embassy folks, you know that. They just went and had their van lifted 3 inches in Salt Lake at OHV. So I would love to know your experience on that. So Churchill's got a Sprinter. And here's Donna coming in from Scottsdale. Can't wait to get to Arizona at the end of the month. I'm very excited about that. And here's Carl. He's picked up his 2159 G, year 2021. So you got the good floor plan, in my opinion. Congratulations, Carl. That's really awesome. Looking for some questions, and let's see. Yeah, Thomas is coming in from Wisconsin, joining another exciting woo. Thank you for that. And here's Mason Mike. Let's see what he's talking about tonight. He's headed to Wilcox, Arizona, where we're going to do the VANBOREE in a couple weeks. This week is a huge wine festival there. And it's just the most amazing, cute little town. Mason Mike is going to go do some scouting for us to make sure Cattle Rest is still the cool place it was when I visited there 2 years ago. Do you know that this week, actually on October 6th, is when I took delivery of my van, Lily, my 59 GL, 2019 Winnebago Travato GL. October 2018 is when I took delivery. So I've owned my van for 3 years, living in it since February 2019 full time. Watch for the video coming up on that very, very soon. And would I buy this rig again? You might be surprised. Maybe you won't. Kathy from Central Florida, California, great. Eric wants to know, are you heading to Bend, Oregon? I am headed to Bend, Oregon. So I'm hitting Portland first. There's a Winnebago dealer there in Bend, and I'm hoping to connect up with the Hydro Flask folks. So yes, I'm coming to Bend. I'm hoping for a few days. So if you're in the Bend area, give me some hot tips. I've never been to Bend before. It's a big van area, right? Bend kind of hosts Descend on Bend. It's a big van event that I would hope to go to next year. Gosh, we got people coming. We got Pennsylvania, and here's Ohio, Streamwood, Illinois. So let's talk about. So Mason Mike's got a great question here, and this kind of ties in my tip for the end of the show. So he says, "Hey Scott, love the demo of the Volta and the AC apps video. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. It was a fun one to make. Now that it's cooling off, what do you suggest as best setting source for heat in the van? Gas, EL standing for electric. In the Truma furnace is what he's referring to. There's two elements, element 1, element 2, meaning element 1 only has one element burning. Element 2 has both of them turned on. They're filament, I'm sure, like a big hair dryer, right? Or mix. Most efficient way to heat. So since Mason Mike's asking it here, and this was going to be my tip around the song of the night, is the problem is that the electric furnace in the Truma is the most consumptive appliance in the van. I mean, by a mile. So right now I've got my AC running, and if I was to show you my my Volta app running here, I will do that right now. You can see that I'm consuming about 1,200 watts of energy. See that? So that's with the compressor on and the AC running. The challenge, and I have an 8,700 watt battery. So at that consumption rate, I've got about 8 hours. In fact, let me go back. If you saw the video, this is going to look really familiar. Sorry for the back and forth. But according to my current state of charge, you see there under the middle, I have 86% state of charge battery. I can run in this current state of consumption of 1,700 watts, 1,200 watts, sorry. I can run to about 9:30 tonight. The problem is, the Truma, with two elements on, consumes in excess of 2,000 watts. It's twice as consumptive as the air conditioner. So in my case, and the viewer's case that wrote me the nice email and gave me a song recommendation, and I've done this twice. I'm a bonehead. I learned slow. Let me tell you, unless you're plugged into shore power, do not run your Truma furnace off electric heat from the battery. Why? The math is really simple. You turn it on and you say, hey, I got a full battery, and you set it to two elements, and you kind of go to bed. At 2,000 plus watts per hour, and if I have a full state of charge, 8,000 watts, how long does my battery run? 4 hours, maybe 5. So by 2:30 in the morning, your battery is dead. It's cold inside the van. It's cold outside the van. Lithium systems do not want to be chilly. They're just like us. They want to be comfy. And it takes a long time for that thing to come back to life if it's really cold outside. You need to get into a warm environment and or plug it into shore power. So my tip here, Mason Mike, and for the viewer, I think it was, I can't remember your name, I apologize, from the awesome email she sent me, is if you are not plugged into shore power, power your furnace, your heat from propane. Mix, I can't figure out what mix would actually do. If you're plugged into shore power, what I found is the Truma furnace electric heat plugged into shore power is good to about 40 degrees. Anything below that, and it really doesn't get hot enough to warm the van comfortably. My experience, I'm weird because I don't cover up all my stuff, right? I don't have a curtain in here, thermal barrier. So maybe I'm different. But what I do, if it's below 40 degrees, I run on propane, even if I'm plugged into shore power. And if I'm not plugged into shore power, I run propane heat. Last night I was in a harvest hose. It got down to 40 degrees. I ran propane. I showered my van this morning. I ran propane. So that's the deal. I know for Volta owners, it's kind of like, oh, it's a letdown, but the math just doesn't work is the problem, ladies and gentlemen. So that's the deal. Shore power, electric heat down to 40 degrees. If you are not plugged in shore power, it's propane heat. Cool? Great question. Mason Mike, right out of the gate. Awesome question. That is cool. what I was going to try and do is show you my heat, but I don't want to turn on the heat and turn off my AC right now. So it's kind of warm where I am. Okay, so let's keep searching for questions. How are we doing on time? 15 after. So let me just, so we talked about going to Bend. Let me just scan for some other questions. This is an easy one, Brenda, so let me answer the great question. So Brenda wants to know, do you run your tire pressure as recommended on the door sticker? Do you feel the factory PMS system is accurate? Maybe this won't be quite a short answer. I do follow the sticker. So the sticker on my van says 65 PSI in the front tires, 80 in the back. And I go to Costco. I'm a Costco member, love Costco. Wait till you see a Costco video coming up. You won't want to miss that. They have free tire pressure, nitrogen actually. So you go in, you dial in the tire pressure, you plug it into your tire and it pumps up to the thing and then it turns off and you let go. So I do go 65 in the front, 80 in the back. That's what my stickers say. The factory TPMS, I'm on my second version here and it still doesn't work. I need to have it replaced again. So I just go to Costco when there's one in town. There's one in just about every town I'm rolling through in the bigger cities, and or I use my tire gauge to measure the tire pressure. So no, my tire pressure monitoring system is completely ineffective. Doesn't work at all. It's always on because the problem is my control unit is broken again. So I need to have that tested. Well, replaced. It's just replaced. It's broken. So if that answers your question. Now, I've had some van builders say with the K02 tires to run a little bit less in the PSIs. I can't remember the exact number he was giving me, but I'm just kind of going what it is, and that's how I run. Just curious if other people have the same suggestion. All right, let's switch gears. It's 15 after the hour, and let's dive into this. This is our big topic tonight, and I would love the feedback that you folks all bring to this subject matter. Very, very important. So the question from Sparks Guy is, what is your current chassis preference? Again, they have a Promaster, a Nova floor plan built by Coachman. They like but they like the engine choices of Ford. So what I've done is just a little bit of research here. So let me zoom in here for you. So let me kind of run through these, and then I'll give you my 2 cents worth as I go through each one. So this is the Promaster, built by Ram, Dodge. What its kind of claim to fame is two things, and then the top of both of those. It's got the widest interior, and it also has the most square interior. The Sprinters and the Transits really bend at the top, but they're really tall inside. This van has the lowest interior height. I'm going to guess it's 6'2". Don't quote me on that. But it has 4 inches in additional width, really from floor to ceiling. And that makes a giant difference in a van like this when you're spending a lot of time. I can instantly tell that I'm in not a Promaster when I step into a Transit or a Sprinter-based van because it feels tall and narrow and very Hall-like to me. Let me zoom back in here for you. So the Ram Promaster is front-wheel drive, 6-cylinder, about 300 horsepower. Gasoline. Yes, it's got gasoline, and it's got a really simple cockpit. Now, why do I think those are cool things? Because gasoline is available everywhere. It's the least expensive fuel compared to diesel. It's super plentiful. You can get gasoline at Costco. You cannot get diesel. And I've been running into this lately with my Volta duties training Winnebago dealer staff, and that is gasoline in a van like this enables a Volta-equipped van to do the auto start and the charge on demand with high idle, 1,500 RPMs. You can't really do that in a diesel engine. Sprinter doesn't really, Mercedes doesn't want them doing it. Storyteller is kind of getting around it. But if you have a Volta-equipped Storyteller, you got to spend a gazillion dollars for them to tweak the thing. But that's why gasoline in a Promaster is really important, because Volta-equipped, you can run high idle. I continue on. Proven track record. I mean, these things are everywhere, kind of like Sprinters. They're all over Europe. I mentioned the Volta High Idle, and it has a really large dealer network. And now what I'm doing is I'm having like brakes and stuff like that service from non-dealer, and everybody knows what a Ram is, Ram Promaster. Again, the builders on these are pretty big names: Winnebago, Road Trek, Coachman, Thor, Pleasureway. So no real surprise there. Transit. Let's take a look at this. I'll zoom in for you. So Transit has the tallest interior. I had a 6 foot tall, 6'5" person in an Embassy RV, and he still had about an inch or two of clearance inside. He was going like this inside of my van. It was funny. If you were there for that camp out with Embassy, you know that. Um, so it can come in all-wheel drive. They have a bunch of engine options. It too is gasoline, really big torque for a gasoline engine, 400 foot-pounds, and the largest cargo door height of the vans, which I thought was pretty astounding, 75 inches basically. And has a large Ford dealer network. That's a huge thing. What it also has is all of these options: 3 roof heights, 3 lengths, 2 wheelbases, 3 engine options. But what I'm finding with the RV manufacturers, the OEMs that outfit these vans, they're kind of picking one, kind of the middle of the road on the Transit, and then that's what you get. So while these are options from Ford, the RV builders are choosing one, and then that's what they're putting it on. Most of them I see are doing dual wheel, all-wheel drive, and that's the big deal there. They're kind of using the EcoBoost 6-cylinder is what I see most often. And the big builders, again, are Coachman, Leisure Travel, Embassy RV, and Winnebago. Those ones I'm most familiar with. Let's look at the Sprinter, and I'm going to give you my thoughts. And let me zoom in here for you. And this is the Mercedes Sprinter, and it's kind of synonymous. I mean, it's almost the icon. When people think of Vanlife, they think of a 4x4 Sprinter, right? Yeah, that's the deal. It's kind of the middle of the interior height and width. So it's a little tiny wider than the Transit, but not nearly as wide as the Promaster. And it's taller than the Promaster, but not as tall as the on the interior height of the Transit. The big deal with these guys is 4-wheel drive. It's diesel. It's torquey. It's reliable. It's super drivable. It's got all these safety features. It's got really comfy seats. It's got mirrors and cameras and all this stuff. The challenge is it's got a small dealer network. So I'm not sure if Redding, California has a Mercedes dealer in it or not. I didn't look. But you may have to tow your vehicle if it goes sideways for a long way to get to somebody for service. It does, though, offer the longest wheelbase. So there is the Mercedes Extended. It's a 170-inch wheelbase, I think, but it's like 24 and some inches, 24 feet and some inches long. It's the longest wheelbase and the biggest van, really, in terms of length on the market. And the builders on these is Winnebago. They make the Era. Coachman makes the Galleria. Embassy has the new Dolphin. Thor, I can't remember what they build out on it. Not the big Extended, but then Storyteller uses the smaller wheelbase, as does off-highway vans. So here's kind of my thinking on the vans. And if I was shopping like I was back in 2018, I knew in the chassis what I did not want. And I would give maybe on the chassis if it had the exact floor plan that I wanted. Let me go zoom back in here to the guy's question. Bear with me one moment. I'm going to look for your feedback here in just a minute. So again, this is his question. So I would go shopping for probably floor plan first and how a floor plan enables my why do I want to RV. And if my floor plan was only available on a Sprinter, 4x4 diesel Mercedes, I would probably suffer through and buy it because the floor plan meets my needs. But thankfully, the floor plan I wanted was on a Promaster, and I did not want a Mercedes. One, they're fussy. We've had many Mercedes, still have one. They are they're diesel. It's in many of the cases 4x4, and they're torquey, but they spin up really slow to come to speed. Promaster, hit the gas and you're off to the races. Promaster, the Sprinter, it's spooling because it's a turbo diesel, right? Now there's ways to get around that, and I've driven the Promaster, obviously, 80,100 miles today, ladies and gentlemen. I've driven the Sprinter. Kyle's rig, his Regency RV, is on a Sprinter cutaway chassis with a huge box on the back. That's a studio apartment. And so I have experience driving the Sprinter. Not a 4x4, but I can tell you it is a very different driving experience, and I really prefer the simplicity of the Promaster. Now, Winnebago's trying to make it fancy with the mirrors and changing out the dash for the radios and stuff like that. I guess that's okay, but I think the beauty of the Promaster that I have is the simplicity of the Promaster. I get in and I drive. I don't use cruise control. I've never used adaptive cruise control in the other rigs, even Kyle's rig. I'm in the driver's seat. The machine is not driving, and I'm guiding. That's not the way I roll. Some of you do, and that's okay. We learn, we share, you decide. I have not driven a Transit. I'll be completely honest with you. And as I thought through this question today, I thought, wouldn't it be a cool video to test drive all 3 chassis in one day, hopefully from dealers that are right next to each other, so I could do it really easily. So I don't know how a Transit drives. Now, speaking with Embassy RV owners, they tell me that driving a Transit is a dream, and it's torquey, it's fast off the line. I think it's got like a 10-speed. Gas mileage is probably about the same across the vans. It's going to be my experience. Driving Kyle's van, it gets about the same mileage as my Promaster, which is about 15 to 18 on the highway, 12 in the city. That's what we've experienced with his. His is bigger and heavier, but my Promaster just chugs along and is just doing beautifully. So to answer your question, what's my current chassis preference? Yeah, Promaster. It just fits my needs. Now, your needs may be completely different. If you're a tall person, you got to look at Sprinter, you got to look at Transit. You would be miserable in a Promaster. So that's for a piece of comfort, peace of mind, you know, doing this thing. That's all you should be looking at. If width on your floor plan is a big deal, Promaster should be the top. If you only want Mercedes because you want the 4-wheel drive and you're going, you know, mountain climbing in this thing, then that's kind of where you're going with that. So you asked me for my personal chassis preference, Promaster. And hopefully that was helpful as you're kind of looking around. I know some of you in the audience here will very much disagree with me, and that's okay. He just wanted kind of my chassis preference. And Dodge, I'm hearing that they're coming out with a new one. So they keep iterating these things a little bit. The Sprinter had a huge upgrade about 2 years ago now, right? Transit's been iterative over the last couple of years. So it's going to be fun to see where the vans go. I'll tell you something that's really interesting. If you Google what's the best van for an RV, Ford is doing a beautiful job marketing the Transit. And I really do hope they take it to Sprinter. And I hope Promaster also steps up a bit. But if you literally Google that phrase, that question, Ford has a web page that takes you right to that. That's where I got some of that content from. Everybody else had to do all this reading from various websites. So what do you think? What's your favorite chassis? That's the most important question. All right, so Sparks, thanks for that question. That was a juicy one, and chassis of all varieties are really still pretty hard to get right now. You know, talking with the dealers and the Winnebago reps and Embassy RV, chassis are just a huge challenge across the world right now. So let me scroll for some questions, and I'm curious what people's thoughts are. Let's see. Let's see, we got Brenda's question there. So Angela's got a good question here, and we will do what's our next thing we're doing at the bottom of the hour? We're doing RV news. We might be slightly late on that. I always get a little pontificating on my question of the week. So I just get really passionate about it, right? I mean, it's a huge deal. It's a huge deal, the chassis. Okay, so Brenda wants to know, do you run, oops, we already got Brenda. I'm sorry, Angela wants to know. I lean towards buying a travel trailer, but I like the vans too. Do vans have true queen mattresses? I would say not true, but some of them get pretty close. What you're going to end up doing is probably having a movable bed, meaning it's an electric sofa that converts, and move a bunch of cushions around to have a queen size bed. Some of them even have I might misspeak here. I was going to say almost a king, but you can probably get to a queen pretty easily. Yeah, but you'll just have to kind of put your bed together every night and take it apart every morning while you're bedding. Most of them are kind of on a full size or a little bit between a full and a queen. That's kind of my experience on these vans. So that's one of the drawbacks, if you will, to a van is the sleeping accommodations, whereas a travel trailer, you're going to be able to have some, a real queen bed. Even in Kyle's large rig, he's got basically a full-size bed because it's an island bed, meaning that the bed mattress is in the middle, and then there's two spaces on either side for the nightstands, and you walk around the mattress as if it were an island. Hence the name island bed. But the beauty of a van is you pull into wherever you want to stay, you put it in park, you're done. That's pretty cool. So Dan wants to know, curious about this. And we've got a Nova video coming up. So the Nova, so he wants to know, hello from Cape Cod. Can't wait to get to the Northeast this spring. What do you think about the Coachman Nova 20C for full timing? I would probably give it a thumb up. It wouldn't work for my needs specifically because I want a full-time table. I can't tell you how big of a deal it is for me to have a full-time table. The 20C, I think, has the bathroom in the middle, right? I think that is. I just walked through one. And then I think the RV is a rear bath, where the bathroom's in the back, like the Travato K floor plan. But Nova makes, Coachman makes a beautiful van. The Nova is spectacular. It's Promaster based, so I would pick that floor plan because it is, I think you have to move the bed down, right? So it's a movable bed, bathroom on the side, permanent table. You could probably figure something out, but they do a lovely job, and I would choose Promaster Nova there, except the Beyond because of the Promaster chassis there. Good question. Full timing, you just gotta spend some time in the van. And what I'm finding is there are more dealers with vans on the lot now. I've just rolled through Southern California and Bay Area, and there's tons of vans for sale at La Mesa, Mike Thompson RV in the LA area, and La Mesa in the Bay Area and San Diego. So if you're on the other side of the world in Massachusetts, but you check your dealers because I think that there are vans to walk through these days at this point in time. Good question. Yeah, Spokane Steve's got a good point here. So the Volta power, you can't really run the battery heaters off the inverter because it would just, it's kind of like charging. I don't know. He's right here. So yeah, it's a good point on tank heaters and in the battery heater. You gotta be plugged in. That's why I avoid the cold weather. Des Moines, Iowa. What a great town that is. I had such a great town in Des Moines, Iowa. You got the coolest. It's the Capitol building there, right? You come over the hill and there's all the gleaming gold domes. It's so cool. Okay, so let's switch gears and let me share with you some great questions. Keep them coming in, folks. Oh yes, I want to remind you to follow the journey through my newsletter. We're doing one about every 3 weeks. Instagram, I'm doing some posts there. I think I have a funny post from the winery. Did you see that from this morning? Did I post that yet? Oh my gosh. And then check out the website on a occasional basis because that's where the stuff is that you want to get noticed on or information on. News headline: if you didn't join us on Monday, Embassy RV, my paid partner on the Embassy Envoy, I guess, and love Terry Minix and the whole team there. What they announced on Monday, I think, is going to shake the Class B plus, I think Echo market pretty hard. What they're doing very differently, and what we announced on Monday, what he announced on Monday, is they're building Dolphin for the Canadian market on the large Sprinter 170 wheelbase extended, the biggest Sprinter they make. He's got vans going into Canada, and they're specifically named the Dolphin. He's got one for the U.S. market planned. I'll let him talk about that. It's the name of not a swimming mammal, but a fish. It's a really big fish, though. And so that's cool, and that's really good news, and it's a different floor plan. You got to see that live. The other thing he announced, which was really, really impactful, again, this is kind of think maybe Winnebago Echo, is Project Black Bear. What they want to do, they have some ideas. They want to extend their decades of building specialty vehicles into the RV market on a cutaway chassis with a box on the back. Again, that's kind of what the Echo is, and Coachman makes one. I can't remember the name of it. But what he's doing is we're going to start taking feedback and doing crowdsourcing and what would the perfect RV in that kind of a footprint look like, and what would you want to have in that van. Now, what he's asked me to do is take the suggestions and the comments and start building a list. So I've agreed to do that. I'm going to build a separate website. Watch for that over the next few days. And we're going to start slow and take our time on this. We'll have prototype workshops over the next probably, this is October, so probably the next 6 or 8 months. and those will be then put into prototype production second half of 2023, with the rigs rolling off late 2023 based on that. So we got a lot of work to do. There's a tremendous amount of interest in this, and this audience, just being so amazing that it is, blew up Embassy RV. So I'm going to take on some of the load so he can keep building vans. But this is really big news, and it's a very different way to roll out a new rig by getting customer and wannabe customer input up front, crowdsourced, all working together. Now I know some of the other guys do this too, but they almost roll these things out as prototypes and then iterate over time with voice of customer. Terry's going to reverse that at Embassy RV and do all the feedback and focus groups and all that stuff up front. That's the news headlines. Bottom line, keep an eye on my website. There's going to be a special website. I think it's going to be rvprojectblackbear.com. And we're going to be collecting a lot of input and scheduling these workshops there. So if you're shopping for a van and you're a couple of years down the road, or you want something very, very different, and if you got to see the live session and you got to see Terry's plumbing, it would make a residential plumber weep with how beautiful his plumbing is. And I can tell you, if I put the camera inside my cabinet, you would not see that kind of plumbing. And that's what Embassy wants to do. Whoops, let's get Des Moines off there. So that's a news headline. Let's keep looking at, we'll do a recommendation at 45 minutes. Actually, I got 10 minutes. So boy, this hour just flies by, doesn't it? Okay, let's look for a few more. Hey, if you learned anything, we got 120 folks in here today. This is great. Give it a thumb up. And beyond intentions, hey, Chris and Sandy, 4 inches is a lot. And they're not kidding. They have a Travato GL. They live in it full time. A traveling nurse with an awesome cat. Oh my gosh, how fast could I pull up Benny's photograph? That cat is such a ham. He is an Instagram cat. Oh my goodness. Every time I see Benny, their cat, I can't wait to get a cat again. So keep sending me Benny photos. How fast can I find that? It was just the most charming. Hold on. I know this is completely not right, but let me see how fast I can find it. I'm so far behind on everything, folks. Searching, stand by. If I can't find it, we'll keep moving. Oh, yeah, I'm not going to be able to find it fast. Gosh darn it. This is the most amazing. I'll put it up on my website. On my van. It's so cute. These are so adorable. Okay, let's keep going. Yeah, Tom Forster here. Absolutely. Transit or Sprinter is all you should be looking at. Skip the Promaster. Just save yourself that bump on the head. Greg Johnson in the house. Saw your email, sir. I'm way behind on everything. Stand by. Good point here. Gasoline does not need diesel engine fluid, DEF. I think that's what it stands for, right? Which now you can get at the gas pump sometimes, but yeah, there's just a whole bunch of things that goes with diesel. I just want to learn something else, right? And this is kind of the reason, this is a great point beyond intention, is the reason Volta has the auto start, charge on demand, high idle on the gasoline engine is because the engine is at its most efficient at highway speeds, 12 to 1500 RPMs, right? The catalytic converter is burning off all the bad stuff. It's best gas mileage. And it also charges really nicely. In fact, let me see if I can show you this. My Volta app from earlier today. What I'll do is go the past 24 hours. So this is what I showed in my training this morning in Fremont. You can see that. So that 3,000 watt spike is actually the engine on high idle. So the 160 amp second alternator puts out over 3,000 watts, 3,600 watts at high idle, charging on demand, stationary. At highway speeds, at 2,500 RPMs on the engine, it's putting out 8,000, almost 9,000 watts. And that's the juiciness of the Volta system. And you can't get that high idle on a diesel engine there. So and they're kind of trying it with lithionics, right? Regular engine speeds, but I can probably guarantee you, and I'm getting some real pressure to do some comparisons, so we might have to do some. But I'll bet you a steak sandwich you can't get 3,600 watts idling at normal speeds of 500 RPMs. Just guessing. What a great show tonight. I love this. Let's see. Yeah. Mr. Muna here has a great point. And if you've seen some of the videos I've done on the European vans, they do have bunk beds in the back. It's pretty crazy. He's saying in transits. I got to actually be in a Panoramic at the meetup. Greg, I think. Greg, right? Had one. He bought it. He drove it down. It's a Canadian unit. It's the most lovely floor plan. That's what I would buy. The problem is the shower is not awesome. But I think it has a cassette toilet, right? Bathrooms, nope. But anyway, super cool floor plan. Pleasure Ways got on tour on the Transit now. That is great. Yeah, we're starting to see the Transit become more and more popular. I'm really glad to see it. I'm really glad to see it. Yes, Spokane Steve says the Storyteller's doing a Transit version now as well. So I'm, again, really glad to see it. This is actually a great question, and I should have put it in here, and I didn't. So Igor wants to know, what's the maximum allowed and weight of those? Do you even consider weight in your builds? There definitely is a gross vehicle weight rating, GVWR, I think it is. I don't know what it is on the Promaster. It's about, I don't know what the total is. So my rig loaded with fuel and water is about 8,600 pounds. That I do know. It's under the total allowed, but not by very much. So those are things you need to keep in mind. In fact, I got some word from a reliable source today that this is one reason why Volta is not in the Echo, because it is really pushing the limits of the total weight of the vehicle. And the Volta system in its totality weighs about 300 pounds. The battery's about 225, I think, back in the back, and then all the inverter and stuff is around 250, 300 pounds for the Volta system. And that reason alone was, well, not alone, probably, but the weight was really a concern in the Echo, and that's why they went on Volta with something else, because it was a lesser weighted system, giving less energy overall, is my understanding. So weight makes a big, big difference. Let's see, Mason Mike's got a question here. Let's see what he's talking about here. Hey, Scott, it's been a while since you gave us an update on your subscriber number. How is Go Small, Live Large doing? Also, everyone hit the thumbs up button. Yes, because of the great questions tonight. This is amazing. Hey, subscribers, we just crossed 17,000. Very important metric, but the metrics I'm also watching is how long is a video being watched, watch duration, and audience engagement. So I'm down a little bit. I haven't done any van tours lately. So when I don't do van tours, the channel suffers, because people like to walk through vans. Totally get it. They don't care where the van goes, and they definitely don't care what is being ate in the van. They just want to see van tours. So we're trying to give you all three: where to take your van, what to eat in your van, and what van might you want. So we'll see those numbers go up. But we've crossed 17,000. It's really amazing when you think about this. Starting 3.5 years ago, I thought I would never get there, and we've had some amazing success. Simi Valley, there he is, Larry. He joined us at Rancho Cucamonga. A cool cat. He would not have a height issue in a Promaster. Larry's just a really great guy. Thank you, and everybody that showed up in Rancho Cucamonga was so much fun. Okay, looking for questions, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah, this is kind of an interesting point. So Jan says Promaster 2022 has most of safety features found in its Transit and Sprinter, which is probably not a bad thing, right? I mean, they've got analog brakes and airbags. That's kind of a non-starter, right? But like on the Sprinter, it's got lane assist. So if you start weaving, it shakes the steering wheel, which to me is kind of an annoyance. I'm like, whoa, what was that? I see the line, but what's the steering wheel? And it's got all these things, right? So they're cool. Don't get me wrong. I poke fun at them. But I just love the simplicity of my Dodge knobs, Ram Promaster knobs, to turn the AC on and to dial down the temperature. And you need a college degree to read these displays to figure out how to turn the AC on or off. But the safety stuff's cool, right? Lane people on either side of you. Those are kind of helpful. But what I find, it's kind of funny. For you folks that are my age or maybe even a little older, we know what a typewriter is. We know what a cassette tape is. We know what a phone book is. If you give a phone book to somebody 12 years old, if you can find one, and ask them to look for, I don't know, mufflers, they may not know what a muffler is, and they sure as heck would have a hard time locating a muffler place near you. Why? Because technology solved all that. Now they just ask Siri, Siri, what's, I don't want him to go off. Where's the nearest muffler place? And I think what's kind of all these safety things, this is my opinion, is it takes the art and joy out of driving and relinquishes many of those things to the machine, and you're just kind of sitting in a big comforty easy chair floating down the road, which makes me fall asleep fast. So that's one reason I like to get in and drive, enjoy the drive. I'm always scanning the mirrors. I'm watching out what's in front of me. I'm watching out what's behind me. I am driving the vehicle. It keeps me awake, it keeps me alert, and it puts me in the driver's seat where I like to be. It's just me and the way I like to roll. Folks, and I have seen Tesla people will get a chuckle out of this. I have seen Tesla drivers on the freeway, laptop computer in their driver's seat lap, and the car is driving down the freeway. He is not even paying attention. He was literally on his laptop, and he had a passenger in the passenger seat. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't get a picture of it fast enough. Scared the right out of me, the Halloween fright, because the machine was in charge. I just don't know if I'm excited about machines driving us around. I just don't know. What do you think? Oh, ooh. Now, sir, Igor's got something here. Waiting for the AMG Sprinter. You can get a G-Wagon, sir. You can get a G63. What he's talking about, so we have one of these. Me and Kyle, we've got a 2013 C63 AMG Coupe. Really hard to find. Very, very rare. We bought it brand new. It was a blind date. It's a whole story. But AMG is Mercedes Performance Division. And in my car, it's a two-door car about the size of a Honda Civic. It generates about 500 horsepower, and it goes 0 to 60 in 4 seconds, and the car weighs a million pounds. Huge engine, tiny, heavy car. And what he's talking about is putting in a high-performance engine in a Sprinter van. Wouldn't that be cool? Now, if you're familiar with the Mercedes line of vehicles, they have the G-Wagon. It's a really square, boxy one that runs about 200 grand. And the total intent of that is to consume a lot of gasoline and irritate Porsches, because it doesn't corner very good, but it is off the line. It will smoke most vehicles on the road. An AMG Sprinter, I'm buying that van. I will give up my Mercedes. Don't want to buy that card for that. That is a super awesome idea. Let's build one of those. And you spend a lot of money on AMG because they sound so beautiful. The vocal noise that comes out of that exhaust system just makes my eyes water with delight. Thank you for saying that. That made my day. AMG Sprinter. Oh my God. That's so funny. Let's see. So Catherine says floor plan trumps chassis. Yeah, I totally agree with you. I would go with the Sprinter if it had the perfect floor plan. So Carl, somebody's gonna have to help you here. I don't know about this. The Sprinters do have this. Transit, I think, is coming online with this. Mine does not. Mine is a 2018 chassis. It doesn't have any of that. Some of us are telling us that the newer ones do have some of that. So Spokane Steve's here's answering it for you. Okay, we're looking for some more questions here, and I'm all at the end of the line here on this. So Jim is saying that the 2021 Promaster chassis has a blind spot alert, rear view mirror camera, and wind assist. Don't need the car to drive for me. Yeah, I'm kind of with you on that. Wind assist, would that? I'd be curious to see how that works. For me, having the van in weather, whether I'm driving in it or preferably sitting still in it, is to me just one of the most magical moments in the van. Wind assist, I had some pretty heavy winds coming up from California Southern. You just kind of learn to go with it, right? But again, the blind spot alert, they're there for a reason. People love them. I like to get in and drive. In fact, if this YouTube thing doesn't work out, I'm probably gonna be a truck driver. Just think, those guys are so cool. Okay, so let me roll through. We're at the 10 minutes through. Let me do a recommendation of the hour. How are we doing on time? We're doing okay. Folks are in still. Hit me up with some questions. There's a lot of folks in here tonight, and this is great. Ask Scott anything. This is our viewer recommendation, which is going to be me tonight. So my viewer recommendation of the week is sign up for Harvest Hosts. Now, Harvest Host is kind of interesting, and I'll zoom in here for you because if you look really closely, there's some new dots in teal on the map. And that is because Harvest Hosts acquired Boondockers Welcome. So now there is a single app that has private property, Boondockers Welcome, formerly, and all the commercial properties, the wineries, the brew pubs, the farms, the museums, and other cool places. I just stayed at a Harvest Host last night. Their commercial property, they expect you to participate in the business, and I assure you, for me, it was not a free night of camping. I did park for no charge, but I bought their wine and cheese program, so my $50 overnight stay was far from free. But what an amazing experience. And there was 4 other RVs there, 1 van, they didn't stay the night, a Class A and a camper van, lovely people, super cool rigs, our Harvest Host members, and one of them was their first time using Harvest Host. And I'm like, congratulations, you're going to love Harvest Host. Here's why. It takes you to places you wouldn't go. For me, that's the biggest benefit because it's never free on the Harvest Host site. On the Boondockers Welcome, it usually is free. You can stay up to 5 days in some places. Some of them even give you electricity. They might charge you $5. But Boondockers Welcome and the golf membership in particular are really great in urban areas. So if you haven't signed up and you've got your van or you're getting ready to get your van, go to my website, gosmalllivelarge.com, click on the essential memberships, sign up, you'll save 15%. As part of this combination, what I learned today, bring this up, is you get 15% buying from Harvest Host direct. That was not the case before. I used to say, if you like paying full price, buy from them. You want to save some money, buy from me. Now you can save the same 15% from them. But I think I make a few bucks, which I appreciate being a non-corporate USA citizen these days. I'm making money other ways, Harvest Host memberships being a number of, but very serious. It's probably one of my #1 recommendations for people of all RV types. It will change your life. And this is in the Portland area. Look at how many, let me zoom in for you again. Look how many places you can go without going to an RV park, having to deal with state parks or national parks, or Walmart parking lots. That's an amazing, Hillsboro. The red dots are wineries. If you got a big wine budget and you've got $25 a day, that's still a pretty cheap overnight spot and have some great experiences. I was at the Julietta Winery in Clarksburg last night. It was so amazing. I can't tell you how cool it is to smell the vines. Literally, I parked next to the vines. So great. That's my recommendation for you. All right. Let's see. What's the next thing? Let me look quick. Yes, we need you. I'm getting some really good input, ladies and gentlemen. The email you want to use is the GSLL viewer recommendation at gmail.com. Please send your recommendations there for song, pet pick of the week. Wait till you see this puppy coming up. A couple of you have reached out around land that you know of or have access to where we can hold camp out. It's going to be a heck of a lot easier to do this on private land versus a combination of street camping, campgrounds, and other things. So I would love to do these. So help us out there. That's my wanted poster for you, the audience, which I love each and every one of you. You know that to be true. And this is a viewer song of the week. And there is Janet and her husband. Let me zoom in here for you. She's the one that was telling us about her challenge of running her Volta system dead cold because she was using electric heat. So Janet, if you're tuning in tonight with your husband, they have a 2021 Travato GL. Congratulations. Such a superb vehicle. And the song of the week is recommended by Janet because when she discovered her Volta system was dead in the middle of the night and was going to take a little while to warm up, the song she thought of was Just Breathe by Eddie Vedder. So that is the song. It's an acoustic guitar song they apparently recorded in his house. I'd never heard of this guy before, and as always, I love learning the music genres from you folks. It's a really cool song, very catchy. Still learning the guitar. As soon as I get through a few more weeks of this crazy schedule I have. And this is where I was going to insert the information about the electric furnace. Again, the electric furnace tidbit is, unless you're plugged into shore power, do not use your Truma electric heat. Why? Because it is consumptive to the effect that you will run your battery dead in 4 hours. And if it's cold out, you will take some effort getting it warmed up. And it's a very uncomfortable feeling. having that happen. So just breathe in case you ran your battery dead. Thank you, Janet, for that suggestion. And congrats um, on your van. They just got it and they just took a big long trip. Okay, looking off to, here's the pet pick of the week. Look at this guy. Holy cow. Let me zoom in for you. This is Sam. He's a Corgi puppy. This comes from Jean, submitted this. It's the dog is going to be the companion of Wendy and Chris. There's kind of a sad story. Another puppy that had a short life apparently, and Sam stepped in to fill the gap. Look at that charming dog. Is that the most cute thing you've seen all day? I ask you, besides me, of course. But I just love your pet pics. Please send these in. Maybe I'll put Benny up here for Beyond Intentions for next week. It's just the most beautiful Instacat photo you've seen all month, I'm pretty sure. Again, the email is gslviewerrecommendation@gmail.com for all your recommendations. And just love the pet pick of the week. Can't wait to get another cat. So on my mind. All right, with that, let's take that off. And I think we are just about at the top of the hour. Let me search if I've gotten all of the questions. So here's Greg, I think, with one. Yeah, Jane's saying, love Harvest Host. Yeah, it's just the most amazing thing. And it's actually kind of cool to have a single app now. Golf, I was kind of annoyed with Harvest Host. They don't just do upfront pricing. You have to really drill in for it. You got to give them an email address. It's kind of annoying. So Harvest Host people, figure it out. People don't want to give a bunch of stuff to find out what the price is. It's kind of like MSRP. It's, anyway. It's $99 for the year. Then you pay a premium for the golf. If you're an urban camper, highly recommend getting the golf package. And you lock in the price you subscribe to as a member for, they say lifetime, but for a number of years at least, right? So Harvest Host is amazing. And for me, the biggest benefit is it takes me places I wouldn't go. And you meet really awesome people. And the guy last night, what was his name? Logan, the waiter at Julietta Winery, said every Harvest Host person they've met have been the friendliest people, have the most interesting stories. It's true because we're RVers, right? So Greg Thompson's got a question here. Greg wants to know, is it possible for somewhere to list the specs required of each chassis if one wanted to provide their own chassis to Embassy? Is it possible for somewhere to list the specs required of each chassis if one wanted to provide their own chassis to Embassy? I think they could probably get that figured out, right? Because I think Terry and the Embassy team is building on customer-provided chassis. I know he has done a few of those. I know the coach builder in Chicago that we did a video with, Rover Vans. He does not want to be in the chassis business at all, Peter, who just emailed or texted me today. Peter does not want to be in the chassis. It's BYOV, bring your own van. He builds it out. And I'm surprised more people don't do that. Being in the chassis business is kind of a headache. So, Greg, let me hit you offline just to get some clarification on that. But certainly as we roll forward on some of these other projects, so here's somebody talking about Project Black Bear. What do you want to see? That's a pretty beefy system for sure. 30,000 watt hours. That's Class A, sir. Wattage to go. Pretty crazy. Okay, so searching for last questions. Searching. So, Kathmandu, maybe this will be the last question of the night, probably. So, does Harvest Host expect visitor labor? How well does this work if you're driving across country? Not sure what you mean. Does Harvest Host expect visitor labor? Maybe you can clarify for me. So most of them have online, or they want you to call. So you make a reservation. They do punish you, Harvest Host, if you make a reservation and don't show up. 3 strikes and you're out type of a deal. I'm always super gracious, and the first thing I do is thank them for being a Harvest Host site. And if it's a Boondocker Welcome private property, I'm in text communication with them to let me know when am I expected to roll in, and I keep them updated. If it's commercial property, they've got customers to deal with. I just let them know that I'm going to be there before they close, probably. We talk about that in advance. So I'm not really sure your question here. I apologize. Does Harvest Host expect visitor labor? They're not expecting you to work for free. at the place. They're not expecting you to do anything other than consume their products and services and stay the night. Many of them don't allow generators. Most of them only allow one night, but they're not expecting you to work, if that's what your question is. So another amazing show. Thank you, each and every one of you, for joining us on the live session. Another What's Up Wednesday next week. We've got some guests coming up you do not want to miss, including van owners and more announcements, but all this stuff are VANBOREE campouts or roundups. Check my website for that stuff. And if I've met you recently face-to-face, you know how special you are because you get to see how genuine I am about this. And if you got to run some of Route 66 with me, you know that I'm just a plain old guy living in a van, trying to do the best to share what the experience is like to help you have these amazing, life-changing experiences like I've had over the last 3 years in this van. So thank you to each and every one of you. Keep driving me forward and being part of the success of this amazing channel and this amazing audience. Each of you is my audience friend, whether I meet you in person or we never cross paths, which I hope that is not the case. So until we see you soon, we wish you to journey on, and we will see you next week. Take care.